What do you do if a seller asks you, well, what happens if my home doesn't sell? After you've gone through your pitch, your presentation, everything that explains what it is that you do. This type of objection isn't something that you should take personal offense to. Chances are the seller missed something that you said while you're giving your presentation or just wants some reassurance. What you'll learn from this short coaching segment in the next few minutes is not just how to handle this objection, but also you'll learn to embrace the concept of knowing your buyer bucket. It's a super simple concept, and you'll see exactly why it will help you so much with pricing and overcoming objections like these. So let's get into it.
What is your response to, well, this all looks well and good and all that, but what happens if it doesn't work?
The first thing I'll say, well, that's a great question. Why are you asking me that?
Simply because if it doesn't work, I want to know what the next step is.
Oh, okay. When what doesn't work?
Your easy listing platform.
And that's where we go back into and we talk to them about the processes and the pricing the home right. But that's a great question. So if it doesn't work, it means that we either miss the mark on price, or that's when you start talking about a bucket pool. We got to price the home right. That's the first key. There's more inventory right now than there are buyers. So we have to be smarter than every other agent that is walking in there, listening to the homeowner and sticking a price on the home that's not going to sell. The beauty of the buyer's premium with the buyer paying the commission. I get to lower the home down anywhere from 10 to 15 to 20% below market value. Right?
Yep.
And if we do that right, Mr. Seller, together, we've already agreed that we would get how many owners to come look at the home. So where doesn't the theory work all the time? So that home that we put on the dash point home that we put on to the market, I had 100% a buyer pool available to me. And another, it wasn't a 55 and older senior neighborhood. There was no homeowners association. There was no whatever else you can think of. So let's talk about a 55 and older neighborhood. When I have a regular house that anybody can buy, I have 100% of the buyer pool. What happens when I try to sell a home inside of a 55 plus neighborhood?
You just cut out 25 or 75% of your buyers.
So when I have that, now that may be when that happens, Michael. Now we come back on to what separates us is the marketing part of it. One of the things I do for my homes that don't sell inside of that first 5 days is I will start marketing your property through social media. And by the way, this course, I'm a master certified agent, and part of that was making me a master social media marketer. Do you guys remember the story of the last 4 homes that I sold where I didn't have 100% bucket pool? All the homes were over $1.4 million. When we take an average price of $600,000, now we got a listing of 1.4 million. What size is that bucket pool?
Yeah, very small.
What do I do for those things? I go ahead and I do reach ads, video view ads, and YouTube ads. I spend $600. You guys can spend whatever you want. You spend $30. Doesn't matter. 10, 10, and 10 to get started. But what happens is when we do that, the advertising outside of the MLS influence, so we're syndicated to places for the first 3 days, right? Where it's pushing out, the MLS is pushing out our listing to other sites.
Right.
So now what I'm doing is I am looking for Facebook and YouTube to tell me I want to target people that are looking for homes anywhere in the USA. Trevor, you get a kick out of this one. Had a home that was listed with a Remax owner agent for $999,000 and couldn't sell it. We took the home, staged it, and did some other things to it, put at 1.25 million. A couple in Vermont paid 1.45 million on it without even coming into the house. They found that house on Facebook. They sent their realtor out to look to make sure it was real. They did an inspection on the property, and lo and behold, the thing was sold. Did not happen inside of our MLS. It was a couple from Vermont that bought it. So we've got to be able to do things outside of the box, and Go on. So the answer to Michael is, well, it doesn't happen very often to me. If Mr. Seller, if you really understood how to price this home to get buyers to come through it, we're not going to have that problem. But
Okay.
inside these bucket pools, but if I do, because it just, if I have a home listed at $100,000 and not one person shows up, what is that saying?
Price is too high.
Price too high, or market conditions always prevail, right? And in other words, there was a home in Florida that I talk about that agents are, Robert, it's priced right. I'm telling you, this big, beautiful, like 3,500 square foot home with a pool, RV parking, driveway, 3-car garage. And he's got this thing priced at, like $450,000. But he goes, man, nobody's looking at it. And I said, I said, okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to send this to another agent in your area, and I'm going to have them do a CMA for me, and I'm going to ask them why they wouldn't go look at it. They do the CMA. Price was right. Absolutely. The closest school and grocery store was 50 miles from the property. So all of that stuff we have to know beforehand. And we have to set the seller up right beforehand. Because that 50 mile and out, that bucket pool, what do you think that bucket pool was? Like 10%?
Yeah, maybe.
So, and that's where we got to be able to separate ourselves and put our money where our mouth is and go above and beyond for the seller. But if you guys do the listing present, I mean, like I say, my story is still my listing presentation. I'm going back out to Seattle. I got 4 more listings that I picked up. And I did all of my listing presentations over Zoom. The story, because they can't refute what it does. But when it doesn't work, Mr. Seller, if you happen to be the one that market conditions prevail and something happened, guess what? The great news is I'll get people to come look at your house. I can't make them buy it though. But I will know why they're not buying it, and then we can do what we need to do to sell your home. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
My job, Mr. Seller, is to get buyers into your home. And you know what? That happens every time I list a home. Period. So
I've got a listing presentation next week for a 55 plus trailer. Be about 250, 300,000. Any nuggets of advice on that? Say just do the thing, right?
listen, you have the world at your fingertips with this new millennial NAR, post NAR BS that unfortunately has happened. That transparency is what NAR was really asking for. Transparency. All the other crap is minutia. So, well, you know what? We've always been the most transparent. We have no hidden agendas. Buyers come to our site and their agents get paid. Buyers' agents, because they're not getting paid anymore by you, Mr. Seller. Or you can still fight your way around it, but you know what? At some point, they're going to take that away. So you got to come back to taking ownership of the platform and what's remember the with them, what's in it for me.
Right.
So as a seller, what's that program? What's in it for him? What's in it for them? If you take them through my story and my listing presentation, you guys, it wipes out 98% of objections. And when you can tell a story about the owner of the company getting back in the real estate business because things were kind of going cattywampus with this NAR, everybody's messed up in the head on it. So I started doing them again. I'm getting listings without a problem by doing the marketing that I'm going to ask you guys to do. I got 4 while I'm in Cleveland, 4 more listings in the Seattle area. And by making phone calls, not even going and seeing them in person. I'm 4 out of 4. I'm passionate about what I believe. I know the benefits. I know what the benefit is for the seller. I know what the benefit is for the listing company. I know what the benefit is for the buyer's agent. I know what the benefit is for the buyer. Remember that open house that Mona did. What everybody loved it, there were no hidden agendas. When you're talking to buyers, when you get a listing, and they start bringing, you don't have to worry about that. Look at the price. If you want to make a higher offer, do it. If you don't. We have no hidden agendas. The site is letting you see you control your destiny. And very first time when Mona she did it the week before Columbus Day, or during Columbus was Monday. Columbus Day was on Monday. We started on Thursday. We were in contract on Tuesday. We would have been in contract on Monday, but Columbus Day, the banks are closed. We carried it over to Tuesday. 103 people in the open house. Leads.
Yeah.
If you go ahead, Trevor.
Well, I got one to list this week. I haven't signed any paperwork yet or anything. Where to go on that one? Their sellers are the builder. He's bought in on it already. He's ready to go. This is great. The comps out at 445. We're gonna list it at 410.
Perfect. All right. If you need help with anything, you guys know. If you need help with anything, any of us can answer the phone for you.